The king cobra, Ophiophagus hanna, celebrated as the world's longest venomous snake, asserts its dominance in Southeast Asian habitats, measuring up to an impressive 18 feet with its distinctive hooded neck and sleek appearance. While typically avoiding confrontations with humans, instances of territorial defense can result in unfortunate encounters. Despite the inherent risks, this did not deter Irma Blue, a 29-year-old Indonesian pop singer renowned for her audacious performances, often featuring pythons draped around her neck. The historical backdrop of individuals performing with snakes extends to ancient cultures, entwined with religious and mystic practices. In the contemporary era, this tradition has metamorphosed into entertainment, with performers using various platforms to exhibit their fearlessness. However, a heightened awareness of responsible practices and animal welfare is emerging, acknowledging potential risks for both performers and the snakes involved. Irma, accustomed to using pythons, decided to incorporate a king cobra named Rianti into one of her performances. Notably, the cobra was rumored to have undergone defanging, an illicit and ethically controversial procedure aimed at removing the snake's venomous fangs. This was considered a precautionary measure to mitigate potential risks and ensure Irma's safety in case of unexpected circumstances during the performance. Irma, midway into her performance, accidentally stepped on the snake, triggering a natural defensive reaction. The cobra, feeling threatened or in pain, responded by biting Irma, gripping tightly and injecting venom into her thigh. A snake handler had to intervene, pulling the venomous serpent away from her. Irma, displaying both determination and a lack of awareness of the potential consequences, decided to continue her performance for an astounding 45 minutes. Despite the venom coursing through her veins, she not only entertained the crowd but also refused any treatment for the snakebite, including the administration of an antidote. Whether perceived as courageous or a self-imposed death sentence, Irma's unwavering commitment to her craft became a poignant part of her final performance. Cobra venom, known for its complex composition, introduces neurotoxins that induce paralysis, cytotoxins causing damage to tissues and blood vessels, and hemotoxic properties leading to coagulation abnormalities. These multifaceted effects can manifest as spontaneous bleeding, clotting disorders, and fluctuations in blood pressure, potentially culminating in shock. It is imperative for individuals bitten by venomous snakes like Irma to seek swift medical attention to counteract these venom-induced complications and enhance the chances of survival. In Irma's case, the refusal of treatment underscores the intricate balance between determination, artistic dedication, and the inherent risks associated with handling venomous creatures. During an electrifying 45-minute performance, Irma experienced a sudden and alarming medical incident, characterized by violent vomiting and distressing seizures. Following this unexpected turn of events, she tragically collapsed on the stage floor. Swift emergency measures were implemented, and Irma was promptly rushed to the hospital. Despite the dedicated efforts of the medical team, her condition proved irreversible, and she was pronounced deceased. In the quiet countryside of Buttsfield, County Durham, Albert Dryden's self-built bungalow stood as a testament to a man's defiant pursuit of his dream. Little did anyone know that this picturesque scene would transform into a shocking episode etched in British broadcasting history. Albert Dryden, born on May 12, 1940, in Consett, County Durham, was a man whose life journey unfolded as a tapestry woven with eccentricity and legal conflicts. As the fifth of 8 children born to Albert and Nora Dryden, his upbringing in the steel-making town of Consett was shaped by the influence of a strict, clean-living father who worked for the Consett Iron Company. From an early age, Dryden displayed a solitary disposition and an active imagination, often lost in flights of fancy. Academic pursuits were not his forte, with later IQ tests revealing his intelligence to be well below average. In the early 1960s, Dryden appeared in court twice, once for firing rockets and mortars, and another time for threatening local farmers. He even pledged to move to Argentina to pursue his hobbies undisturbed. Despite these legal entanglements, Dryden's passion for weapons endured. In 1982, having been made redundant, Dryden took a pivotal step in realizing his unconventional dreams. He rented a plot of land at Eliza Lane, Buttsfield, where he would construct the bungalow that would later become the focal point of a tragic saga. By 1984, he had purchased the land outright. In the tightly knit community, Albert Dryden stood as a benevolent figure, renowned for his kindness and readiness to assist others. A genuine community man, he devoted his time to repairing children's bikes and addressing various maintenance needs with unwavering generosity. Despite the results of IQ tests, Dryden's ingenuity extended to the construction of rockets of such magnitude that they even registered on the Royal Air Force's radar. Facing the impending demolition of his whimsically named home in a hole, Dryden had meticulously constructed it from the ground up. However, a significant hurdle stood in his way: the absence of planning permission. In the UK, the acquisition of land does not grant unrestricted freedom to implement any desired architectural design. Prospective landowners must seek approval from the local council for their proposed designs. Albert Dryden, undeterred by multiple rejections, persistently applied for approval, determined to build according to his vision. Despite facing continuous refusals, Albert Dryden pressed on with constructing his own projects following unsuccessful appeals. The situation took a dramatic turn when an unidentified informant alerted the council to Dryden's ongoing unauthorized construction activities. This revelation marked the beginning of a series of events that would unfold into a significant drama. The clash with Derwentside District Council reached a pivotal moment, placing local planning officer Harry Collinson at the epicenter of a tumultuous storm. With a tenure dating back to 1974, Collinson was a seasoned council officer, adept at navigating the intricacies of planning and governance. The clash unfolded as two individuals from disparate backgrounds grappled with finding a resolution to the escalating issues. Despite attempts to connect over shared interests in nature, tea sessions and discussions, Collinson remained resolute in his stance that the home needed demolition. The conflict reached its zenith in 1989 when complaints arose about Dryden's bungalow. His creative explanations, ranging from it being a new summer house for his elderly mother to a nuclear shelter and a cattle shed, only intensified the council's scrutiny. Multiple rejected applications followed, leading to a public inquiry, a failed appeal, and the unfortunate passing of Dryden's mother, an event he attributed to council persecution. The amicable understanding between Dryden and Harry Collinson, the council officer, dissipated, replaced by a sense of betrayal. In May 1989, the council's decision became official, ordering the demolition of the property. Despite Dryden's subsequent appeal in January 1990, inspectors ruled in favor of the council, sealing the ominous fate of the unconventional abode. Dryden was given 3 months to demolish the bungalow. Dryden's confrontations with the council escalated, reaching a peculiar climax when a friend hurled a live cockerel at planning officer Harry Collinson during a meeting. In September 1990, the council attended the land to assess whether Albert had demolished the home. Finding it still intact, they gave him another month to comply or face prosecution. Defiant, Dryden refused to comply, leaving the council with no choice but to carry out the demolition themselves. As the media, police, and council prepared for the event, the potential for trouble loomed large due to Dryden's well-known obsession with guns and arms. The police were instructed to withdraw immediately if met with any resistance from Albert, setting the stage for a tense and dramatic confrontation. The forced demolition was to go ahead on the 20th of January, 1991. The BBC was on site, capturing the unfolding drama for Look North, a magazine programme. Dryden, an eccentric character with an obsession for weapons from a bygone era, emerged from under his baseball cap, brandishing a vintage First World War Webley Mac 6 revolver. The scene was surreal, with the gathered press, police, and council officials seemingly unfazed by the firearm, dismissing it as an empty threat. Dryden mentioned that their presence was illegal as he pointed out the active appeal letter on his front gate. However, the appeal Dryden had highlighted had already faced rejection, with the impending arrival of the rejection letter in the next few days. Tensions escalated as Albert engaged in a heated argument over the legality of the house. When Harry asked for entry through the main gate, Dryden adamantly refused, leading to a confrontation. Harry Collinson then warned Albert that they would have to use force to access the property, potentially involving breaking the fence. In response, Harry emphasized that any damage to the fence would be Albert's liability. In a chilling retort, Albert warned Harry, "You may not be around to see the outcome of this disaster. Now you've been warned, and if you had any sense, you would go away." Harry was still persistent in his stance, so Dryden shot Harry Collinson. As the cameras rolled, Collinson fell backward into a ditch. Chaos erupted, and Dryden proceeded to hit him in the face and chest. He also targeted the demolition machine, firing at its internal mechanisms in an attempt to disable it. A police unit swiftly arrived, and Albert Dryden took cover in a caravan, claiming that the property was rigged with landmines and traps. Later investigations revealed that all these threats were fabrications. During the ensuing mayhem, Tony Belmont, the program's presenter, found himself wounded, but managed to report the shocking incident to the camera. A police officer was also shot in the rear end, a casualty of Dryden's desperate attempt to defend his unconventional castle. The subsequent trial in Newcastle Crown Court in April 1992 resulted in Dryden's conviction for Collinson's murder, the attempted murder of solicitor Michael Dunstan, and the wounding of Belmont and PC Stephen Campbell. Despite Dryden's claims of defending his home, he received a life sentence. In prison, Dryden maintained his defiance, showing no remorse in letters to Roy Collinson. His appeal was dismissed, and parole applications were rejected. In 2017, suffering a stroke, Dryden was released on compassionate grounds. His health declined, and on September 15, 2018, he passed away in a care home, leaving behind a legacy of defiance, tragedy, and a bizarre chapter in British broadcasting history. The tale of Albert Dryden, the man who sought to defend his castle with a vintage firearm, had reached its final chapter.